Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening, matter of fact. Happy Monday to you. Well, maybe not so happy Monday, depending on how you view this day.
Me
It,
and you are feeling pretty good today.
yeah, orange and blue fever, baby. I had to bring it back to the Sparky Starky. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm feeling real on my '90s Knicks today. I
You're
woke
feeling
up.
nostalgic.
I woke up today. I played some Go New York, Go New York, Go. I was in my bag today. I was like, you know what? I'm feeling myself. I'm gonna talk a little bit of trash. Nah, I didn't talk no trash. But I walked around my house with a little. I woke up this morning with a little extra, you know, strut in the proverbial getty up this morning. But speaking of struts in the getty up, Lou Lamorello, you look like a genius today. And we're gonna get into all the craziness that was the first day of the first 2 days of the hockey playoffs. And because this guy was telling me some crazy stuff last night as he was preparing and he was watching all the games, and I'm keeping track of the last playing spots in the NBA and the Western Conference, and just a crazy weekend for the both of us. Um, but Kyle Palmieri, Lou Lamorello, you look really smart. You look really smart. And I know at the time people, Taylor Hall, what are we doing? Why didn't we go after him? All this stuff. And bam, your man scores 2 goals and was like, hold up. Hold
He
up.
scored the opening goal and the winning goal.
Yes. And I showed you a stat yesterday that I was reading in The Athletic from Arthur Staple. He's the first Islander player from Long Island. I don't remember it offhand, but
Yeah, you're right. Yep, he was born in Smithtown,
and
out
I'm
on
like,
the island.
how cool is that to be from the Long Island area and to score a goal for your hometown team? And not only do you score the beginner, the opening salvo, but you send everybody home. All right, let's go home. It's time for game 2. And just reading the articles, just reading what everybody had to say, it seemed as though there was more relief with the win than actual joy. Is that an accurate sense, or just from reading a whole bunch of articles and seeing Barry Trotz's quotes, the head coach of the Islanders? It seemed like it was more relief rather than, you know,
That's a fair assessment. I think most Islander fans and the team, the coach, were confident to begin with. But in the playoffs, especially in a tight game like that, you're going back and forth with a team like Pittsburgh, a
right.
team who the past couple times we played in the playoffs, they're just grinded out, gritty, back and forth type of games like that. Like we'll score, they score, we score, oh, nuts. But yeah, you want that first win, that game 1 win, and especially the fact that the Islanders are starting on the road. That game 1 win was a must. I know it was only game 1, but under Barry Trotz, the Islanders are undefeated when they win the first game. They move on, they win that series. So game 1 is a tone setter, no doubt. And we played awesome yesterday. Were there times where we could have done things better though? Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Like we didn't score on a 4-minute power play that we had, but overall the team battled and stuck it out. And like I said, Palmieri with the opening goal, our boy JG Pageau with a goal. Then Brock Nelson took the lead with like 4 minutes left. And then 31 seconds later, the Penguins tied it. And then Palmieri and again, what do me and you always say?
That had to be fun for you because you had to been dying at the end.
I was. Let's go on this, doggy.
Hey!
Let's go. But yeah, great ending, great game. Yeah, this series, Oh my God. It's going to be intense. The first game was. And listen, that shot by Palmieri, like we always say, just shoot it at the net. It was a rolling puck. He
Exactly.
wasn't in a great angle, but you know what? He found that little hole in between the helmet and the post.
Well, I think when you want to win a game on the road, you have to take some chances offensively. I'm not saying compromise your
No doubt.
rules or the game plan or everything you're doing schematically. I think that's gonna obviously that comes with knowing the team you're playing, knowing you're playing against Crosby, knowing you're playing against that particular crew. You don't want to take chances, but you do want to make sure that you do want to make sure that you do take some chances, especially you're in the playoffs and you never know when scoring chances are really fleeting. They don't happen often. So when
Right.
you have a chance to score, you might as well take advantage of it. And Palmieri did that with that shot. And look, I'm going to say this, but it feels like to me from a distance that the Islanders have the Pittsburgh Penguins' number. Now, I know people don't want to hear that. If you're a superstitious fan, you're probably like, please don't mention that. That's a little bit crazy. But, bro, you swept them a couple years back. You're off to a good start again today. And
Yeah.
listen, we got to give credit to the kid. Sorokin was nails yesterday.
Sorokin, right. We have to mention that too. Varley not at 100% just yet.
Right.
Trotz, from what he said, he's going to be okay. That's right. Screw Crosby. And the Penguins. Yeah, Crosby scored again yesterday. He always finds a way to score against us. And just sticks his hand out with one hand, deflects the puck off the stick, and it goes in. I'm like,
that's what great players do, though. They find a way to make an impact on the game.
Yep.
And you have to expect.
We got to hit him more, though. We've given him a lot of space yesterday. You got to knock him off the puck, back check him more, forecheck. But yeah, the fact that Sorokin, his first playoff game, and he was confident, Barry said. He said to me, I'll be ready, coach, when you need me. And he was lights out yesterday. He did give up 3 goals, but listen, he made multiple saves.
You're playing against perhaps one of the best offenses in the NHL, and
he is. Some of those that one against Crosby was huge, where it was a gaping wide open net, and he just stuck the skate out, and it tipped off maybe the end of the pad or a skate and deflected wide. So he is an unbelievable athlete, Dougie. No doubt about it.
But you have to know who you're playing against in the sense that Pittsburgh is going to create chances for themselves. And they've been together for a long time. There's a synergy there. They're not
Duncan was out yesterday. That was a big loss for them. He's been out a lot this year. Hasn't played in a long time. And Tristan Jarry didn't look great either in net. Their goaltender.
I mean, if you're the Islanders, you kind of want to capitalize on all this. If there's a weakness there, you want to exploit every weakness possible because, look.
Absolutely. And you can tell they went high. Pretty much 3 of the 4 goals were all high glove side.
Yeah. And that's what you kind of have to do against a guy that is, compromised. If you feel like the goalie's lacking confidence or the goalie can't handle the shots, or if he's feeling a bit overwhelmed, you have to attack him from, shot one. See where he's weak, see where he's vulnerable, and we'll go from there. And it just seems like, listen, the Islanders have to keep up this aggressiveness, though. You can't have pockets of the game where you lull and you don't play with the full aggressiveness for a full 60 minutes. You have to keep that aggressiveness up, because Pittsburgh's going to keep coming. So if you play back to your toes and you're not aggressive dictating the action, you're going to be in a very compromised spot.
Oh, absolutely, Dougie. No doubt about it.
I'm just talking about, listen, that's why I use the phrase before I think you guys have their number, just from the standpoint that you've done it before. You've been here before. You know what it takes to beat a team like that. But at the same time, you kind of don't want to take for granted why they're here. They're one of the most well-respected teams in the NHL. And listen, if Crosby gets rolling, if Letang gets rolling, if their crew gets rolling, then this could be a very, very tough and daunting series. You don't want to overlook them because you got game one. That's one thing that I'd caution against. Just don't overlook them because you never know what might happen.
No, definitely. But we can, Dougie's right. We could certainly beat them. But they are a tough team. Like I said,
Right.
all the games this year were close and tough. Yesterday was tough, but we pulled it out.
Right.
They're determined too, because the team, and also too, Palmieri I think's got a chip on his shoulder because I'm sure he's hearing it in the media. Like players bullshit and will say, "Nah, we don't pay attention to this and that," but they hear the noise.
Of course,
you should have got Taylor Hall. He's slumping. Oh yeah, here's 2 goals for you, including the overtime winning goal.
See, the best thing you can do to silence all of that is go out and win. At the end of the day, winning cures all. If you go out and win, no matter what you did in the regular season, it's not going to matter. People could say, oh, well, he's slumping. Oh, they should have got Hall. They should have acquired this guy. They should have acquired. Everybody likes to do the Monday morning quarterbacking. Oh, what they should have done. This is what we should have gotten. This is the move we should have made. But listen, Lou knows the personnel of this team better than anybody. And if Lou Lamoriello saw that this person fills a need for what we need at this point in the season, then that's where we're going to go. It's easy to say, oh, they should have stuck to their guns or they should have got, Taylor Hall, and that's all well and good. But I feel like Palmieri kind of fits the glue of the team. He's a hard-working guy. He's a glue guy. He's not a
deep veteran
player. He's not going to make – listen, because Taylor Hall kind of fits in Boston because he's kind of that, I can take over a game. I fit the offensive juggernaut that they got going on here. Well, with the Islanders, it's more like a grinded out. We're going to win the game 3-2. We're going to block shots. We're going to play tough defense. We're going to be like that takes a certain type of like identity. And when you get to this point in the playoffs, you got to have guys that want to do the same thing.
Definitely. And that is the kind of player he is.
Yeah. That's what it seems like from everything that you read about him and just the way his game is. And
it was good to see Anders Lee yesterday. He's traveling with the team. He was in the press box watching the game. Lou was in the building in Pittsburgh yesterday. So
nice.
The Godfather right there.
Nice.
The genius Louis Lambs.
Nice. What do you think the rest of this looks like, though? If you can paint a picture, what does the rest of this, not the rest of the series, because I think that's a tough question, but I think what does the rest of, what does game 2 look like? I mean,
game 2, I think, is going to be another heavy game. I think it could be another 1-goal game, to be honest. I don't know if it'll be 4-3 again. It could be something like that or a 3-2. But Pittsburgh's going to come out because they don't want to, going to come out swinging because they don't want to, go down 2-0. I mean, I hope they do, but they don't want to go down 2-0 going to the Coliseum Thursday night.
Yeah, so it'll be fun. So
that's a daunting task for them.
At some point, though, I think this is a time where if you're Pittsburgh, if you go down 2-0 and you eventually lose this series, I think it's time to look at this team and go, man, we got to get younger. We got to get younger because Letang's been here forever. Malkin's been here forever. You have to get younger. And
he's been getting banged up too, Malkin.
I'm saying, and that also goes to the dependability. If we're older and we're always banged up, we can't be on the ice all the time. Especially if Crosby is entering what they call the twilight of his career, I think that can be quite difficult as well.
Yes.
So, I mean, we'll see what comes of this. I just want to see how, the rest of this, not series, but the rest of these series around the Islanders shakes out. Like what the rest of these teams all look like, and then get ready to, handicap it fully when we get to the conference finals or when we get to the second round, or so hopefully the Islanders are a part of that conversation, because it should be fascinating if they are, from the standpoint that, of course, this guy won't, stop talking about his boys, and rightfully so. And also, you want to see how they match up against some of the elite in the NHL, especially because they struggled towards the end of the regular season. They kind of limped to the finish. You want to see where they stack up against the Bostons, against the, the Washingtons and Tampa's, and Tampa. You said it yesterday. They look like they're
yeah, they really didn't miss a beat. No. Winning, we'll jump to that game, and then we'll do Minnesota Vegas, which was also goalie battle. But yeah, in South Florida, so the first time ever Battle of the Sunshine State, the Lightning Panthers. Mm-hmm. First of all, and I told Steph, I've never seen the BB&T Center, which is the arena in Sunrise. I mean, it was loud. It was raucous. It was electrifying. You could feel it through the television, like crazy atmosphere. And I think that's due to, playing Tampa for the first time. Plus, they were like towards the end of the year, the last 2 or 3 games were against each other. So they've already been playing each other a couple of times, and they were jockeying for home ice, which Florida ended up getting. But my God, I mean, a goal, the game starts off, Florida scores, then it's called goaltender interference, then Florida scores, and then it turned from there, like back and forth, like Florida score, Tampa score, Florida score, and it was like the Pittsburgh Islander game, just back and forth, back and forth. Then at one point, Tampa was up 3-2, Florida ties it, the place is going berserko. Mm-hmm. And then late in the game, with like under 2 minutes left, Tampa scores on a breakaway, and that ends up being the winning goal. I think it could be enough, Travis. I think it's enough for us to win a cup, because you've seen it with the St. Louis Blues. They won with basically no superstars. I mean, you could say Vladimir Tarasenko, but no, not a Crosby or an Ovechkin type, or a Nikita Kucherov, which, by the way, out the whole year, but he scored 2 goals last night. So he's going
to score and shoot. What's up, Trav?
What's up? Yeah, he's going to be a threat. Stamkos is back for Tampa. That series. A lot of people giving the Panthers a chance, but I mean, they're a good team.
I mean,
they're not on Tampa level, but they're a pesky type of team.
Yeah.
They're well coached by Joel Quenneville.
For me, when you got experience and you got athletes that just know how to play, scrappiness only goes so far. Tampa, I give Florida.
But in hockey, it's different, though. Hockey, it could work.
I give Florida 1 game, if that.
Yeah, I got Florida winning in 7.
Nah.
I think you just like Tampa.
Just watch.
You were riding on the Tampa train all last year, too.
Just watching them. You know why? Because I see game changes. When I watch them play, I'm like, you got Stamkos, you got Hedman, you got this one, you got that one. I'm like, damn, it's all over the ice. They got guys.
They did, but once they were the last place team in January, and then they went off, and
right,
they never looked back.
Right. And so it's something about, you do have to get hot. At certain points, you do have to get hot. You do have to realize, hey, maybe it is about us getting hot at the right time and um playing above our head a little bit and allowing ourselves to just realize, hey, maybe this is the way it's going to work. Maybe you do have to get hot. You do have to establish some sort of, you know, yeah, the Kings in
Those
2014.
Kings runs were impressive.
Yeah. I remember the King run in 2014. They kind of limped till the regular season finish, and then they just got hot and beat everybody in the playoffs. And in hockey, yes, it is attainable, but I just when I watch Tampa, I'm just like, you guys, there's something there. There's like this. I feel like they can turn on a switch and get hot whenever they feel like it, where most teams aren't afforded that luxury. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
they are definitely talented. I feel like that with Vegas. Like Vegas to me is, I mean,
Yeah.
all up and down the ice are just insanely talented. And yesterday, goalie battle 0-0 going into overtime. First
Yeah.
of all, the saves Marc Andre Fleury made were like he was in.
Yeah,
He
he was.
was like he works for Circus Olay out in Vegas. Like he must be practicing with them because the acrobatic moves he was doing was nuts.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
and
I
Cam
think.
Talbot had a game 2 in net.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still not a fan of his, but
Yeah.
he played some game. And Minnesota, man, not for nothing, but winning in Vegas, game 1, that's a statement. If they could get a split, at least going back to
I
St. Paul, that's big.
got them winning. Then I got them winning this series actually.
What's up, Skip? Let's go Jets and Islanders. Yeah, Sorokin is, but I think once Varlamov is healthy, that's Barry's number 1 guy. Which I understand.
He said as much yesterday during the press conference. That he didn't really want to play around with, movement too much.
But I'm so happy we have Sorokin though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just we have that 2 goalie tandem, and that's what 2 can win you a Stanley Cup. Is having 2 goalies. Vegas has that with Leonard and Fleury. We have that with Sorokin and Varley. A couple teams have that. So, and that's a luxury.
I feel like the 2 goal tandem works best, especially when
it's like in the NFL with quarterbacks. You have.
I kind of don't equate it to quarterbacks. Having 2 goalies it's like having 2 closers in baseball. If you have 2 closers in baseball, even when one's not right or one needs a day off, you can go to the next guy and go, "Hey, big boy, get me the win." 2 goalies are like 2 elite closers in baseball. Because you know you're gonna win the game either or. It doesn't matter who's closing the game for you. You know you got a shot. So that's what I equated to, or like 2 guards in the NBA where they can both handle the ball and you don't have to worry about one slipping or one. You know what I'm saying? So I think if you got a 2 goalie tandem, you put yourself in a much better position.
Yeah, and the atmosphere too in Vegas was awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very awesome games. And also too, for the first time ever in NHL history, you had the first 3 games of the Stanley Cup playoffs all go to overtime. The Bruins Capitals game, the Islanders Penguins, and the Wild and Golden Knights game. And also too, the Capitals coming up with a huge win in overtime. TJ Oshie.
Yeah.
Ever since the passing of his father, he's playing awesome.
I mean, I feel like in sports, when you have a loss like that, it just locks you in a little more. Like it gives you a sense of purpose. Like I'm not playing a game. In some cases, yes, but in some cases, no, because there's been times where 2 goalies have started, they've split time, and they've actually played well. I think a lot of it depends on the matchup, like who plays better against what team. I think Barry, I think you got to be able to say, you know what, you got to be flexible because the other team is willing to be flexible as well. So
Right.
you have to be flexible. But getting back to Oshie, do you get the sense that when athletes are battling something, whether it's personal tragedy or somebody in their family sick, or it's just you think they'd have a bad game? Like look at the Brett Favre game when he lost his dad.
Yeah, that Monday night game he went off.
Yeah,
Against St. Louis in the 2014 playoffs when he lost his mom, he played really, really well.
right. Yeah.
After that, so we have seen it in a lot of different sports.
Yeah. It kind of locks you in a little bit because it forces you to focus and realize, hey, man, I'm here for a reason. And yes, the loss hurts. The loss absolutely hurts, but I think it could give Oshie some edge heading into the later rounds or even later in the series as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you meant during the season, right? Because that never has really happened in the playoffs.
No, yeah, during the season you need two goalies. I feel like in the playoffs you need one goalie.
I mean, if one of them, God forbid, goes down with an injury.
Yeah.
No, Trav, I don't remember. But during the season, like a good example in the regular season, Barry's been doing that. I mean, not this year, but remember he was doing like with Grice and Leonard. He went like Leonard one night, Grice the next game, and so on. And then eventually Leonard was the guy.
Yeah. But I think you have to be like what I mean by two goalies is you at least want to have options. That if you said like an injury happens or somebody goes down, you want to have the option to say,
or he's run on a cold streak and not playing well.
Right. Yeah.
Right, yeah. In the playoffs, it's never really happened.
In the playoffs, I want to ride with one guy because that guy, especially if he's hot, especially if he's hot, if he feels like he can definitely help you, you definitely can use a guy like that. There's no doubt about it. I think that oftentimes, we've seen it where, a guy gets cold and you pull him and the next guy comes in and just plays out of his mind. Didn't that happen in St. Louis last year with Bradenton? They pulled him and the backup goalie came in and was just
Jake Allen, yeah.
Yeah.
And Bennington, too, speaking of him, had an amazing 2019, and then when they won the Cup, he went on a crazy run when they started him. And they never looked back from that. So, and then didn't have a great 2020, and then they got eliminated early in the bubble. It is nice, though, to have, like, the teams playing their home arenas.
Oh, yeah.
Playoffs.
You get some sense of normalcy back. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. You get some sense of normalcy back.
Tonight we got.
You get some sense of normalcy back, and you get to feel the crowd. You get to feel that energy. You get to feel that there's a buzz in the buildings when you're back in your building, and there's this energy, and it just feels real powerful. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Trav. Agreed.
But tonight we got go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was pointing to you to go ahead.
We got game 2 of Washington, Boston, which I think if you're Boston, you got to split going back home. Game 1 of the Hurricanes, Predators, which should be an interesting series. I think not really one of the most talked about series.
Right.
2 lower profile teams, although Nashville is popular, but in terms of market, Nashville and Carolina hasn't really been talked about much. And then
those series I feel like it's always those series that aren't talked about that are gonna make sure that those are the games that we remember, that we look at and go, man, nobody was talking about
2019, Travis. Yeah, they ended up playing Peter Mrazek, and then That was it. That happened in 2013 when we played Pittsburgh. We were beating the crap out of Fleury, scoring goal. He looked terrible. And then they put in Thomas Vokoun for the rest of the series, and then unfortunately that was that. But that has happened before. Where they feel like, you know what, this goalie, let's put in the other guy and forget about it.
Because I feel like it breaks all momentum. Like, you plan for one guy, you do all your scouting for the one guy, and then they throw a curveball at you like mid-series.
That's why they do it, right?
Yeah, you're like,
and then you can't solve them. And credit to Craig Anderson, who's, I think, 40 or close to 40 years old.
40, I
heard. Goalie.
He is 40.
Won the game for Washington the other night.
Wow.
And the last time he played in the postseason was Game 7, they said, in 2017 when they lost to the Penguins.
Wow.
That's a long time to not be in the postseason, and he was lights out.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Pajot was on that Senator team. He had a sick playoffs, too, that year, I remember. And then you have Colorado St. Louis, which is one of the more intriguing series, just based on the history between them playing in the divisions. And Colorado, basically everyone's picking them to win. It's either them, Vegas, or Tampa everybody's picking. I haven't seen anybody else get picked but those three teams.
So, but that just makes me want to root for an upset.
Oh, yeah, which we could see. There's definitely going to be one upset or two in this first round. The favorite isn't winning every series. I can't see it.
I mean, I would hope not, because it takes the fun out of it.
Oh, definitely. Well, yeah, the JG one, they were breaking that down today on the NHL Network. That is a goal you really should save. And I do love JG Pajot, but it's not like he has like a wicked wrist shot. He's got a shot, but not really from deep range. And I mean, the shot wasn't really fast or anything, and Jari gave that up, like Travis said, high glove side.
That's one thing that I feel like you have to figure out before you enter the play. Your goalie situation has to be figured out.
That goal Palmieri scored too, a great goal, but that's one a goalie really shouldn't give up. When you're blocking the entire near side of the net, I think Islanders win, and I don't think it's an upset. I mean, I know everyone says it would be an upset, but
why? Yeah, all right. Let's change the narrative on this show.
I hate that all the Islanders are. I mean, I don't mind being an underdog, but why is Pittsburgh's not that much better than the Islanders?
All right, well, let's change the narrative on this show. Because if you beat a team recently, and when I mean recently, I mean the last 2 years, the Islanders went and swept those guys. So why is this team
dominantly?
All right. So why is this team better than the team you swept 2 years ago? What's the difference?
Makes no sense.
You know what it is?
I think because they're basing it on the regular season.
I don't even care about the regular season. This is what you call national media bias.
100%.
National media wants to jump on a bias because they feel like, they're always going to be this bad. It doesn't matter what you do. Like, it's the Islanders. Nobody's really paying attention.
Look at what the Islanders did last year. Look at what they did in 2019.
It's the national media bias. How many times have me and you sat there and said, yo, you know, I can't wait to see what Team X does in the playoffs, just to change the narrative of not only their season, but the way they're looked at. You know what I'm saying? So it's like...
And that too, the Islanders don't score enough. Are you shitting me? Have you seen the Islander games this year? Because I guess not. We scored 4 goals yesterday. How do you say the Islanders don't score?
here's the thing.
That's such a BS narrative, too, that the Islanders don't score. Same thing in the bubble last year. Remember? Oh, the Islanders are boring. They don't score. We scored a lot. And listen, I don't know. The way they play, I mean, it's exciting to me because they're winning. So as long as they win, I don't care really how they play. And I like that style of play. And it's successful.
It's almost as if, right, we sit here and we ask this question of, listen, I hear it with the Knicks. I hear it all the time. All the Knicks are too defensive-minded. They don't score enough. I'd rather win a game.
Look at where they are. They clinched the playoffs for the first time in 8 years.
Make the fourth seed, have a home round series. You think Atlanta wants to come into the Garden and have to deal with that for 7 games? I mean, they might, but I wouldn't. If I know I gotta walk in, I know.
Like if you have a certain strategy, who cares what everybody else thinks? And if it's successful, then stick with it. Which is what the Islanders and the Knicks have been doing. They stick to that mindset.
At the end of the day, exactly.
100%.
Exactly. So you can tell me I'm
chip
boring.
And chase it all day, forecheck.
You can tell me I'm boring. Stern, thank you for the like, brother. You can tell me I'm boring.
You for the like.
You can tell me all this, right? But don't nobody care if you score 1 million points and you can't win a playoff game to save your life. So it doesn't matter. Like, defense to me is important, especially when you get down to the nitty gritty. And Lou doesn't listen. I think Barry Trotz and Lou Lamoriello, they went to the same school because it's like
match made in heaven
when it comes to this. Same thing with Tibbs. Tibbs, bro, the Knicks can be playing great. He sees one defensive slippage and he's ready to pull out whatever hair he has left.
Barry's the same way.
That's a real thing, and people they overplay it.
That's right, Marcos.
In any sport, because how many times have I heard it this year? Oh, the Knicks are super boring. The Knicks, they don't score enough baskets. Like, bruh, I don't care how many points I score, as long as I'm winning. As long as
you'd rather than not give up a lead, but if you could do without that. But as long as you win, that's all that matters at the end of the day.
No, not necessarily, because I almost died twice this weekend. So I don't know about that. I don't know about that. It just yeah, I mean, it's the same thing though with, like, I'll say this. So we have the 3-6 matchup in the Eastern Conference is Milwaukee, Miami. Now, to a novice fan in basketball, that's like, that's boring. But it's like, if you're a basketball fan, you're like, Miami plays good defense. We're going to see how Giannis responds to this.
Right.
Jimmy Butler versus Giannis. You got 2 dogs. You got good core plays and Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero. You got the Holiday in Milwaukee. So Drew Holiday in Milwaukee. So I'm excited to see the dogs fight it out and see each other and give me a good old-fashioned Eastern Conference, let's score 94 points and win a game. I love it. Because at least you're trying. Well, how many times you see a team give up 8 goals, 9 goals, and you're like, bro, what are you standing there? You are right. They've only played together a grand total of 8 times.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Injuries, personal reasons, hamstring pulls. They've only played together 8 times.
I hear the happiness in your voice, though, when you said, I heard it. Don't lie. You want them out so bad in the first round?
No, I'd actually want to see them get eliminated in the conference finals. I want them to get close to the chip, feel like they got it, And
It
then
could be Knicks Nets if
good
both go
Lord,
that far.
don't.
No, I'm just saying I saw the bracket how it's set up.
Good Lord, what are you doing to me?
Exactly, Stern. 100% defense win. What defense wins championships?
Listen, there was a stat yesterday. They showed it on the Knick game. What's up, Stern? They showed it on the Knick game. So the Knicks, this Knick team is the first Knick team to lead in 3-point percentage, field goal percentage, defensive field goal percentage since the 92-93 Knicks.
Well, damn.
You want to know what that starting lineup was? Patrick Ewing,
Patrick?
Charles Oakley, Charles Smith, Doc Rivers, and yes, Mr. John Starks. That was the epitome of defense. That was the epitome. If you come in here with
Imagine if basketball was like that today, like the 80s and 90s.
how warm that makes my
Always
heart.
line the guy driving to the basket and
Oh,
hard-nosed D.
yeah, because it's not like we're giving up 110 points a game and we're not trying.
And they're not a superstar loaded team.
No, and I gotta tell you, I look at I gotta be honest. Like, look at a team like the Boston Celtics. With that talent, you got Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kemba Walker. If they're all healthy, there's no way in hell the Celtics should be in the 7th seed in the Eastern Conference. No way. But the lack of defense, the lack of commitment, the lack of showing up every night, you get nights like that. And to believe it or not, I read something today, the Boston media, Brad Stevens is on the hot seat.
Really?
If they don't win a round, he might get fired.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, well, damn. Like, it's like that. And a lot of it goes back to teams don't want to defend. Teams don't want to defend. You got a guy, you got team, exactly. You got guys who feel entitled. And that's when you watch basketball today, how many guys, as soon as they get in the lane, they want to cry to the official, yo, ref, where's the foul? Why didn't you call that a foul? Because not everything is a foul, bruh. Sometimes it's you got stopped. Sometimes and that's why I respect hockey players, because they're like, hey, I don't need you to call a foul every 5 seconds. I'm good.
And yesterday in the Tampa, Florida game, I mean, there could have been multiple penalties.
Right.
But they just let them play. Or they would play 4-on-4 often because there was a scrum after like every whistle. They should have just let them fight at least a couple times, but they don't really let them do that in the postseason.
Yeah, we agree, Frank. We agree, Frank. We 1,000% agree. And
Thank
that's
you for the compliment, man.
Thank you, brother. I mean, that's why and this is why it's different for this society of fan, because this society of fan looks at the athletes and goes, bruh, you got all this skill. You guys are super talented. You can do anything you want on the ice, on the court, on the field, and on every single possession, you're looking at an official to bail you out. We see it with Tom Brady in football. We see it with LeBron in basketball. I'm like, yo, LeBron, you're bigger than everybody on the court.
See it with certain teams in soccer. A lot of players, they look at the ref and, oh, my God.
Or so I was watching a soccer game last weekend for Mother's Day. They had it on in the restaurant. And so this guy inadvertently gets his foot stepped on, and you see the guy clutching his heel. He stepped on my foot down on the ice, going like this for a yellow card. And I'm like, get out of here, bro.
That annoys me. And I love the sport, but when they roll around and like they got, like, oh my God, the guys, you know how many times I've had my foot stepped on? It happens.
Yeah, like, and here's another one in the NBA. I hate it when they try to tell a charge call. Like, bro, He barely touched you. Why are you blowing back like you got hit by a gun? Like, stop. Stop. They're paid to deal with everything on every level of life. That's a fair assessment, Trav, and it goes back to the Kyrie Irving thing this weekend too. Listen, did you hear about this, big dog?
I did not.
He says that, I can't really focus on basketball. There's too many pressing things going on in the world. I'm like, we get it, Kyrie. I'm not mad at your sentiment. We understand there's stuff going on in the world and conflicts, and we get where you're coming from. But you're going to say that 2 games before the playoffs? He said it the game Saturday after the game. Oh, my mind's not on basketball right now. Really? Really? So you're about to walk into the playoffs. Your team is projected to win a championship, and your mind's not on basketball? Really? Just face it. You don't want to talk to the media. It's like watching this guy's press conferences. It's painful. It's painful because he does. It's like, I understand that you have issues personal. You may have personal issues going on, but like, that's part of your job description as a player is to talk about the game. And he cut off the media. Oh, well, I don't want to talk about it. I don't really want to. I don't really want to deal with this. There's bigger things in basketball. And he's like, I really don't want to answer your questions about the game. I'm like, what? What are you talking, bro? You're in your job description, it says you have to sit there for 10 minutes and answer questions about a game you just played. If you want, use your platform like your Instagram, your Twitter, your YouTube to speak on these issues. You're more than welcome to do that. Why do you have to wait till you get in front of a camera where there's media credentialed there to do their job, to ask you questions about a game you played in, with significance, by the way, because if they lose the other night, Milwaukee gets a 2 seed, and guess who's playing Miami in the first round?
Brooklyn.
There you go. So tell me how that would have played out for the net contingent in the city. One team I do not want to see right now is Miami. Oh, hell no. No. Pat Riley with his slick back hair looking like the Don Dada. I don't want none of that Riley smoke, man. No. Nope. Out on that. I'm going over there. And it's just,
man, sports in Florida's hopping.
Yeah.
Thinking about it, the Tampa market, the Miami market, all their teams are doing well.
And the Rays are good too.
Well, except for the Marlins. But other than that, every other team is good.
They're coming. They're coming.
All the Dolphins.
Yeah. If the Dolphins get a quarterback, we might be having a different conversation. Irving's a basket case, according to Trav. If the Nets win a championship, it will ruin the NBA more. I mean, I agree with you. That's why I kind of don't want the super team model to work. Even like going back to like the Kobe and Shaq Lakers, I was like, this kind of sucks because Shaq is hard enough to deal by himself, but then you give him somebody like Kobe who is just an assassin who just don't care.
If the NBA tried making a super league, how crazy would that be?
They kind of already got one. Wait, because I mean, you got the Lakers, you got the Clippers, you got the Nets, you got Philly, you got all these teams that are kind of like super teams, and it's everybody else. You know what I mean? Like, I guess Utah and Phoenix aren't technically super teams, but so they would be the rare exceptions to the rule.
Right.
But most of the time, like those type of teams win out. Super teams, they win out usually. And unfortunately, it sends a bad message to the teams in the smaller markets like the Memphises, like the New Orleans is. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it hurts. It's not a super team. It's not playing the stars together. You know what? You're right, Trav. But the thing is, the Nets talent is so crazy that, bruh, all they probably needed was 8 games. Like, man, we're so good. We got to outscore the opponent by at least. They're gonna put up 115 to 20 every night on no matter who they play. No matter who they play, because they're that good offensively. Where I gotta be honest, like Miami, Brooklyn don't want to see Miami because yes, Brooklyn has 3 stars, but Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, Andre Iguodala, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson. Nah, you don't want to, because Pat Riley already knows how to stop all that. Yeah, it's the same way. It's the same way. It's the exact same way from the standpoint that I look at it like this. I feel like, if I'm being honest, it kind of cheapens sports. Like it that's why I feel like you love hockey, because hockey you don't have to deal with that in hockey.
Yeah, there's no super teams. There's no.
Mm-hmm. Put that back up for the masses to see. But it feels kind of good to be in a situation where you're kind of like the underdog. Like I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm pulling like hell for Golden State on Tuesday night against the Lakers. Steph, just go off. Just give LeBron.
Now, is the playing like a 1-game thing, or is it a mini series?
It depends, because if you're 7-8, you get 2 chances to win 1. If you're 9-10, you lose 1, you go home.
Oh.
So I'm praying. I'm like, yo, Steph, just light up LeBron for at least 50. Put the Lakers in a situation where they gotta fear you a little bit, because the Lakers are the most cockiest 7 seed I ever seen in my life. It's like, no matter where we play, they're gonna destroy everybody in the way. I'm like, well, damn. Like, so the Clippers ain't got nothing to say about that. Dallas ain't got nothing to say about that. All these teams in the Phoenix ain't got nothing to say about that. Utah, you sure about that? Yo, hold up a second. Y'all talking like that big dog. They're talking like they have no fear of anyone. And I'm like, I don't understand that one. That's true too. Well, it's not all about.
They do.
It's not financially driven.
Right. That's the beautiful part of hockey. They don't care about all that. They care about the team. It's us first, or we, not I or me. Just the sacrifice they take to block shots, and I mean the injuries they get, and then they come back and play with torn ACLs, and puck to the face, and scars all on their face, and blood everywhere, and they come back out the next shift. It's
not letting Kayla comment, so Kayla sends in these 2 comments.
Okay.
The defense is the reason I'm not scared of the Nets, because they don't play defense. We can score, and we can score with them. The league will never not let LeBron in. He's the golden goose. She's not wrong.
Yeah, so you think something's going to be fixed in this 7-8 matchup? Like the refs are going to make some crazy call, and I'm asking you. You're the basketball guy, but
I mean,
I'm just saying.
I mean, you're not the only one to point out that a certain.
But come on, like, aren't basketball fans tired of seeing a match in the same year, Knicks, Islanders, and then the Mets win this year? Oh my God, the Islanders and.
I mean, yeah, it's been like that for some time.
Oh, I agree.
It's and the thing that sucks
is why I can't get into the NBA, and the NFL too is sickening too, because it's just there's no real fans anymore. There's no the refereeing's getting worse every season, and
Yeah.
you see Brady every year. Well, he's a Yankee fan, so I knew that was coming. Oh, stop! You love the Mets. Stop with that bullshit.
I don't mind if you guys win, just because we get to talk baseball on this show. But so you guys winning actually
You'll
helped
get me back for the playoffs.
You already know we got a nickname for you. Oh, Giancarlo Stanton by like 10 miles. And it's not even close. Giancarlo Stanton's contract is the worst contract in the sport.
Oh, God. I'm sorry, but speaking of MLB and baseball, so I was telling Stephen yesterday, and the look on his face, like, I don't even think you said anything. I think you're like, no comment. Because it was announced that Zach Wilson of the Jets will wear number 2 going forward. And then what do all the Jet fans put in the comments? GIFs of or pictures of Derek Jeter. And I guess they're already comparing him or expecting that he's going to be the next Derek Jeter in New York. And I hate Derek Jeter, but I respect him, and you can't. Well, first of all, it's 2 different sports, number 1. Number 2, Zach Wilson hasn't even played a snap in an NFL game yet. How on planet Earth can you compare Zach Wilson to Derek Jeter?
Nah, don't do that. Nah, he's gonna be worth his contract. Frankie, he's slumping because
Frankie'll be all right.
Nah, Frankie's gonna be all right. Don't do that. Giancarlo Stanton's contract is 10 times worse. Anyway, keep going though, because I'm fascinated with where this is going.
Yeah, I don't know how you compare.
He hasn't even played a game yet, and they're crowning him the next coming.
And then,
nah, he'll be all right.
Robert Saleh gets interviewed, but first of all, Rich Eisen, I know you're a Jet fan, but you got to stop. Every other Jet fan media guy, listen, you have us Jet fan, like, you have our hearts in your hands. That's what he said. Like, you got to win for us. It's all on you and Zach. Like, we're pulling for you guys. And
oh, man.
Like, you got to be shitting me right now. And then Rich Eisen asked Robert Saleh the question. So, Coach, how do you think Zach Wilson will, handle the pressures of New York and being a Jet and so on? Hold on a second. Roberts, because I can't believe he actually said it. And I'm not. Robert Saleh said, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact quote, but he basically compared BYU football and Utah to New York City and the Jets. He said, oh, well, Zach Wilson, played at BYU. Everyone in Utah cares about BYU football. It's massive there. He'll handle New York and the Jets. Are you fucking out of your mind? I'm sorry. And Robert Saleh, I got nothing against you. I hope you have success. But comparing BYU football, it's not like we're talking Notre Dame, Alabama, USC, Ohio State, Georgia. BYU to the New York Jets. Now, are the Jets the Giants or the Bears or the Steelers? No, but the Jets do have a lot of pressure on them. They are in New York City. How can you make that comparison? Mm-hmm. I mean, I know it's hard to, I guess, for him to answer that question. Rich Eisen put him in a tough spot, but I don't know. That answer just blew my mind and made me laugh. Like, Utah and New York City. All right. I don't know.
No, I gotta be honest. So when I saw the quote, I was like, that has to be some sort of misprint. Like that
It wasn't.
And I found out that it was real, and I'm like, first of all, nobody even knows where BYU is.
I had to look it up, to be honest. I didn't know what part of I knew it was in Utah. I didn't know what part.
You're telling me that you're comparing BYU to the and I granted
Tumbleweed to the Big Apple. It's a good one.
Stern, I like that, Stern.
That was a good one.
That's the comment of the show right there. No, it's kind of true. It's like, oh no, he'll be okay. It's only BYU. What? How do you compare?
There's a lot of pressure in BYU.
Are you kidding me? You know what? On the next, you know what? I hope, just for this guy's sake, so we could talk some solid football. I hope he does. But when you got the media making the asinine statements, and it's like,
it's already not looking good.
You're not helping the situation by saying stuff like this. This goes back to why I don't want my owners on Twitter. Steve Cohen. Now the Mets are in a losing streak. Now he's nowhere to be found. Now Steve Cohen's Twitter feed is quiet as
right. You know. And how about maybe you not tweet at all and just stay out of it?
There you go.
That's all.
When you talk about it from that standpoint, I don't think owners should be on Twitter.
No,
I really don't. Now you could say that that's not a fair assessment. You shouldn't say that. They have an opinion. Yes, they have an opinion.
No, but when you're tweeting after, and my flag fell. But but no, like after every Met, like I'm scrolling through Twitter at night, like probably around the time the Met game ends. That's when like, oh, great win, or oh, we'll get. I don't know, just the idea of Woody Johnson too is on Twitter. That annoys me, although I can't stand him to begin with. But I don't know. Owners, I agree, just shouldn't be on social media at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I know everyone knocks me and say I'm too down, but when I see shit like this and the media is already cooking things up and the coach is saying silly things and comparing Zach Wilson to Derek Jeter or Joe Namath or the next coming of Jesus.
Yeah.
Can we stop? Can we? I know it's New York that's going to happen, but come on, man. This is only hurting the Jets.
I'm going to say something ultra surprising. You see the background I got behind me today.
Yes.
So you know what it is. But I kind of want the Knicks to lose in the first round. Hear me out on this. Because all it's going to do is now you're going to hear, if they win around, all you're going to hear now is which free agents are going to come to New York to help them win a chip next year. Is Randall the guy? Is Randall the guy? What do we do? How much cap space do we have? Can we swing a sign and trade for a certain player? Can we?
Right.
So you're going to kill the growth. You're going to kill the growth off one measly playoff win. Now, honestly, I don't think they win the series, the Knicks. I think the Knicks lose in 6. That's just me looking at it objectively going, Trae Young's a problem, and they're going to have a hard time dealing with him for 6 games. You know what I'm saying? And I just think Atlanta's a little bit better positioned to me. When I look at them play, you got guys like Danilo Gallinari, you got guys like Bogdanovich, you got
Gallinari,
John Collins, who's a hell of an athlete. When I look at the Knicks, I'm like, you don't know who your point guard is because I don't trust Elfrid Payton. You know what I'm saying? Like, Elfrid Payton doesn't make me go, oh, my God, I can go to sleep at night. We got a point guard.
Right.
No, and That's why I kind of don't want this whole, well, if the Knicks win around, then maybe stuff could get interesting. And nah, let it continue to ferment. Let me just point this out. Vegas had the Knicks this year at 22 wins. The Knicks finished the season with 41. Can we allow for the natural progression of this team to take shape? Or no? Are we going to kill it like everything else in New York? Oh, but the Knicks are good again. What free agents can we acquire? Who can we go after? Then Dolan's going to want to trade half your draft picks for a star he thinks he needs. Stop. Don't do this. Stop. Let Tibbs, let the crew develop. Stop. Stop it now. Do I want them to win the series? Yes, I want them to win the series. I want my team to be successful as they can be. But you know how it is. The moment you start winning, oh my God.
I'm already aggravated, and the Jet season didn't even start yet. It's months away. I'm already fucking pissed off.
He's already aggravated.
I can't take it. It's so annoying. Every friggin' quarterback that we draft, always Joe Namath. Oh, did you speak to Joe Namath yet, Zach? Did you speak to Joe yet, Sammy? Oh, you're going to be all hoping for you. You got to win us one. We haven't won in 50 years or 50-something years. Stop.
Right.
God almighty.
Right. Hey, Julius, are you signing a long-term extension here? Hey, Tibbs, can we just...
Shut up. Just stop. Let things play out.
They wanted RJ Barrett and Julius Randle gone. They wanted them gone. Now they want to give them lifetime contract and keep to the city.
And you said it. I thought it too. You already know the first couple of games Zach Wilson plays at home. If he plays bad, we should have kept Sam. We should have kept Sam when everyone was kicking Sam out. So
not even we should have kept Sam. If another quarterback in this draft lights it up, we should have took him.
You know that's first of all, Justin Fields is going to be great, I think. And Mac Jones, I'm telling you, the Patriots are going to come back, I think. And that's just, that probably is part of me being scarred, but it's also semi-serious. I think somehow Bill finds a way. I'm not saying they get back to what they were with Brady, but I think New England's going to, I think they found their guy. After Cam, because I think Cam plays out this year, and then Mac Jones will eventually take over. No, we're retired. No one could wear 12.
And I get it. It's like I don't want it to grow too fast, because then if it grows too fast, you're like, and then when it
the rumor mill in the summertime. Oh, who's coming to the Garden? Who's coming to the Knicks? Who's Dolan signing now?
And there's back rumors that if Portland gets eliminated in the first round, the Knicks could target Dame this summer and a block.
Imagine Dame and Melo come to the Knicks. Well, first of all, you would just be happy with Melo because I know that your boy still.
No, but even that, I know you're doing it jokingly, but they're really talking about that stuff. And I'm like, yo, game one of a playoff series hasn't even tipped.
Jet fans too. What free agents could we get? Who wants to come here, first of all? Now, unless if we improve and make the playoffs, then that's a different story.
Yeah, it's true. And look, no free agent is going to want your money. No, you don't hope for a loss, but you kind of hope that it doesn't grow as quickly as everybody is painting this out to be. Like, that's why them losing isn't the worst thing in the world.
I remember you saying about the Yankees, they made it too soon to the championship. Yeah. I remember you said that to me like 2 days after. You were like, yo,
because there's nowhere to go but down. Because look at them now. Oh, Gary Sanchez. the hell is Gary? Where are you? Is he even on planet Earth? Is he playing baseball? No, you're 100% right. No. Travis, I agree with you. My comment is simply in this town, you can't breathe the wrong way, and people, oh my god, what could this mean?
I know.
Stop. Oh, you're in the wrong city for that then. Why is everybody else patient except for New Yorkers? Why? They went through the process in Philly. They didn't enjoy it, but they went through it. They gritted their teeth. But why in New York do we cry and moan and bitch and do all this? And we've had more losing seasons than anybody, but yet we feel entitled to winners.
The last team to win with the 2011 Giants. That was the last New York championship.
But yet we feel entitled to winners? How does that make sense? Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, I guarantee you, depending on how this playoff run ends, because even if they beat the Hawks, they're not beating Philly in the second round. I don't believe. I think Philly beats them in maybe 4 or 5 if we get that far.
Right.
But you already know, yo, would you give up RJ Barrett? Yo, would you give up this, that? Yo, no. And I'm keeping all my first round picks. Because knowing the Knicks' luck, they'll trade for a star. They'll trade 2 first round picks. And those guys will be franchise players in 4 years.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So why do this to yourself? For what? It makes no sense. Like, it makes no sense. And then that's true too. And again, I'll say this too.
Oh, he's screwing them up. Beautiful job, Jimmy. Keep screwing the Rangers up.
Dude.
But from a hockey perspective, what he did with the Rangers, though,
is actually
why?
It's borderline ridiculous.
They already, and you brought it up on the show when we first talked about it, but how they, wrote to the fans a letter, honest letter. Look, it's going to take a while. We're going to rebuild, but we're going to build it. And then you fire all these guys.
Within inside of 3 years.
Yeah.
Is it 3 years, big dog? It's 3 years, isn't it?
Yes.
And didn't the letter say this was like a 5-year plan?
I don't remember the exact number of years, but it was going to take a long time. So.
I think it was like a 5-year plan. Look, at the end of the day, I'm going to say this, okay? I know people get upset some people may be offended when I say this. It's like, I want to keep my draft picks. Like, I understand Dame Lillard's a great player, but he's 31 years old in July. Like, I want to keep the picks. Like, I don't want to do anything that's going to ruin my future. Now, granted, do you have to go out and you might have to make a trade or two? Yes. But I'm only making trades for certain guys. Like, I don't want to trade my whole young core for a guy that I know I have a limited window with. Like, for example, look at the Nets. The Nets have no draft picks for the next 8 years. They sold their soul to Satan for what? 1 or 2 cracks.
Didn't the Celtics do that too?
The Kevin Garnett trade.
But they won, though, with him, right? Him and Paul Pierce?
Yeah, but the Nets...
But only once.
Yeah, and exactly. And here's the thing, right? So we all sit here and talk about, yo, I guess you got to take it when it's in front of you because it's hard to win. Yes, but you also got to understand the history of each of these organizations. Like, the Knicks are known for doing stupid shit. Where you sit there going, here we go again. Here we go again.
Here we go.
Here we go again. So I could hear it now. Oh, the Jets, Zach Wilson. He's the next coming. First game of the season goes 15 for 25 with 4 picks. Oh, he sucks. We should have made another move.
Remember Sam's first pass in the league was a pick six. The Jets ended up winning that Monday night game, but I remember that.
Didn't you guys score like 48 points?
Yeah, we killed what was the Lions, but
I'm saying
we scored like 48 points.
Oh, this looks good. Sam looks good.
Oh, yeah, there was a ton of Jet fans there doing the JETS chant. What those MetLife?
It didn't end well, I see.
Yeah, we went 4-12 that year, so not so gooch.
Oh man,
Jets suck.
I didn't say it. You did.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's all right. I mean, I just have some patience, as I guess what I'm saying. I want to just do one more thing before we get on out of here.
And I also wanted to get into soccer if you would allow me for a few.
I want to do 2 things, and then we could do the soccer, and then we could roll. Congratulations to the great Marv Albert.
Yes.
Officially announced his retirement after the 2021 Eastern Conference Finals. Hopefully he gets to call one more Knicks series before he hangs up the mic. Marv Albert, been a play-by-play man since the age of 21 in the year 1963. Did some Super Bowls. I believe he did like 10 Super Bowls if I'm not mistaken. He did 13 NBA Finals for NBC, 25 All-Star games for Turner and TNT, and that's not. Doesn't the NBA have a lot of untapped talent sitting on the? It's true, or I mean, it all depends. It's all relative to your situation, Trav. I don't really. I mean, it all depends on the franchise, but yeah, 25 All-Star games. He's called a number of games, so congratulations to the iconic Marv Albert on a successful and well-deserved retirement. He is now 80. Marv Albert is 80, and he's calling it. So, Marv, well-deserved. You made Brooklyn proud. Speaking of well-deserved and
don't start crying.
I think he was. Yes, there was a story about him in the Post at one point in like '97, getting caught in like women's clothing. But
Kobe, the few tears could be shed for Kobe. That
anyway. I wanted to say my congratulations to 4 people this weekend. Kevin Garnett, who I loved watching. He was the epitome of like heart, soul, grit, played
great
hard,
player.
Never took possessions off. Finished with, I think he went to the All-Star game like 12, 13 times.
Damn.
He was all defense like 7, 8 times in his career. KG had numbers, bro. And he won a chip with the Celtics in 08. Anything is possible as the great Kevin Garnett once said. Tim Duncan, the big fundamental. You went from swimming in St. Croix to hosting 5 NBA championships and doing it the right way. So congratulations to you. Back to the announcing for 1 second. Congratulations to the Hall of Fame and well-deserved Yonkers great Mike Breen, the voice of the NBA, the voice of the Knicks, the voice of my childhood. And that one hit me because I'm like, damn, Mike's been doing
me with Doc.
Mike's been doing Knick games since like '97. So congratulations to the great Mike Breen. And the last one, the great Mike Breen. The last one, Vanessa Bryant, I don't know how she did it, but that was one of the most eloquent and powerful speeches I have ever seen. She did it with grace. She did it with class. Um, Congratulations, not even to Kobe, but to the entire Bryant family for keeping his legacy alive. I just wish he was here to celebrate it because Kobe would have been he'd have been it'd have been a joy just to watch him. And I just it was hard for me to watch her speech. It was because you know um it's like damn man, he was just starting out life and Hall of Fame in a few years, and it was all cut short. But he was looking forward to that. She did say in the speech that he was looking forward to being inducted. So congrats to the late great Kobe Bean Bryant, aka the Mamba. So you are gone, but you are definitely not forgotten. And if you do root for the Lakers, hope that they find that Mamba mentality to go through these next couple rounds because it ain't gonna be easy. Because Lord knows, Kobe would have been like, "You got to turn ankle, boy. You better tape that shit up and keep running." You know what I mean? So yeah, man. So congrats to those four esteemed gentlemen, and hopefully the class of 2021 was also announced, but we'll do that another day. I just want to give these gentlemen their just due. So congratulations to those four gentlemen. And Big Dog, let us know what's going on in the world of professional soccer, man.
Well, first of all, the FA Cup was Saturday. Leicester City with a late winner, an absolute screamer of a goal, to win it. The first time in 137 years they won of their existence. They won the FA Cup for the first time ever. So congratulations to Leicester City.
Wow.
And that was beautiful and really just kind of showed why there should be no friggin' Super League. Take care, Trap. Thanks for watching.
Yes, sir.
The ultimate underdog, although it's funny because they've been close to the Champions League. They've been a consistent team ever since they won the title in 16. And that just goes to show, and the emotion afterwards, and the owner came down and celebrated with the team. The new owner, because unfortunately their former owner passed away a few years ago in a plane crash, actually not even too far from the stadium. Wow. And that hit the club hard. So this you definitely, and the son now runs the team, and you can just see how proud they were, happy, and I was happy for them, man. And Chelsea were the favorites, and they were the hot team going in. And it's funny, they actually play each other in the Premier League tomorrow, so that should be kind of interesting. Wow. But just to show, like, that was like a proverbial middle finger to the big teams. Like, you know what? Like, and they can actually get a spot in the Champions League next year.
That had to make every soccer fan feel like real warm inside. Like,
yeah, and the crowd was there too. And when they scored, it was like you would have thought there was 90,000 Leicester fans. Like, it was crazy. And like after the game, they went over to like the section where the fans were and was celebrating, like chanting, and it was cool moment. So congrats to Leicester City. Mm-hmm. Also, too, speaking of top four, Liverpool yesterday, unfortunately for Tottenham, but they won with a late winner, which, I mean, they only beat them 2-1, and this was a team in West Brom that are 19th. They should have been, they're a terrible team, relegated already, but it took literally until stoppage time for Liverpool, the so-called super team, to beat them. But anyway, The goalie scored the winning goal. Because in soccer, I'm not sure if you know this, but like, say if you're in a situation where the game is tied or your team is losing, the goalie will come from his end to, like, say if there's a corner kick, so there's an extra guy, and he scored a header, and that was the winning goal for Liverpool. Allison is his name. He scored the winning goal. I mean,
Wow.
yeah. Just craziness.
Wow.
You're a little befuddled, eh? Did you ever hear of that before? The goalie.
Like, wait, that's allowed? That's
Yeah,
legal?
look up the highlight. Yeah, on YouTube. Liverpool goalie and he scored.
If you're the other goalie, you gotta feel like crap. Like, damn, I just gave my head into that goalie.
Like, shit.
That's like one pitcher giving up another home run to a pitcher. It's like,
Yeah, that's exactly what you could equate it to. So they won. Now, that's not guaranteed, though, that they're top four. They need to see what happens in the Chelsea-Leicester game tomorrow. Tottenham won 2-0. Harry Kane scored again. He seems to be scoring for us a lot lately, but it was reported by sources that Harry Kane expressed desire to leave the club this summer in a face-to-face meeting with Chairman Daniel Levy. So this wasn't, he didn't tell the paper. He spoke to the owner, the chairman, and said, I would like to leave. Unless if you're guaranteeing me pieces around me but yeah, Harry Kane is not happy, which is understandable, but that means a lot now. The fact that he met with ownership.
What do you think happens now?
I don't know, because it's going to be very hard. He doesn't have a free transfer. He's still under contract. The only way realistically is if Daniel Levy sold him, but it's going to cost a lot for a team to get him. So,
wow.
But
Drama.
a little bit.
Sounds like it.
But this was a fun show, man.
It was. It really was. I'm excited. We basically touched on everything. We got your little jet rant. So
yeah, it's a tradition,
Media, keep saying stupid. Keep saying stupid.
Please
stuff.
don't. But we all know they're gonna anyway because they're dumb.
Yes, please keep saying stupid stuff. We need this guy's reaction.
They want the Jets to fail anyway, so.
Oh, here we go.
Nobody cares.
All right, buddy. This is a great show, and we'll talk soon.
All right, bye.
Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on Thursday at 6 p.m.